Clinton Jaws, like this video. It's the only thing I care about. You wouldn't believe what it does to the video. I'm watching The View, and the woman comes home for her lunch break and interrupts me, and I'm like, because I'm so engaged in it. I can't believe what I'm watching. It's probably the craziest episode that I've seen. What comes? Dumb. What comes out of their mouth? Stupidity. I honestly thought we were all on the same page now. No, far from it. I don't care how people dress up. It doesn't bug me at all. I don't care, not one bit. But if my daughter ever has to share a bathroom with a pee-pee, then I have an issue. Or if she's in a tennis competition against a man, yeah, I got a problem with that. I think we all do, but The View don't. Can I just say something? Could you imagine being in the audience and you find out who the guest is today?
And boycott after her Bud Light branded post went viral.
You got that
now
right.
She's sharing her journey in a candid and witty new memoir called Paper Doll. Please welcome
She don't look like that.
Dylan Mulvaney.
For having me.
Thank you for coming. Anna has the first question.
So why did you decide to document that, and how was the reaction?
You're not going to believe what Whoopi says.
Yeah, well, I think when I came up to my mom when I was 4, and I didn't know how other trans women were getting to the, to where they were going on their journeys. And I wanted to find the funny way into coming out, because I had already come out 2 times before that, and I was like, oh gosh, this needs to, be a little bit lighter of something. So I tried to make people laugh, and I think that comedy's a really good way into, touching people's hearts and changing minds. And then what ended up happening was a lot of support, but a lot of hate. Yeah. And I'm a people pleaser, so I wanted to make the haters see that there were other parts of me and that I am a 3-dimensional person. And so I've kind of taken people along this journey. And
all you 4-year-olds out there, if you know, you just know you're in the wrong body. And parents, listen to your kids. They want to transform at 4.
I feel like I'm in the wrong body, what I am on the inside. Because so often, sadly, it's misassigned to schools and someone's trying to change someone. Oftentimes this happens before the children are even out of the house.
When my boy turned 4, I asked him this question: what do you want to do when you grow up? You know what he told me? He wants to pet soft birds. Chances are he's not going to be doing that for a living. Then I asked him, do you want to play hockey? And he goes, I want to dance.
I think that's such an important point.
Thank you. And I think that I think I just
he played
I knew
hockey, by the way.
How I felt. I knew what even my sister tells me a story of like I went into the girls' bathroom in kindergarten, and a teacher had to pull me out because that's where I thought I was supposed to be.
Thank God Nancy Mace wasn't your teacher.
Well, and Dylan, so as you mentioned, you told your parents when you were 4 years old. How did they react then, and do they support you now?
Yes, well, I come from a very conservative Catholic family.
Oh gosh.
But I feel lucky because I now am in such a great place with them. There's love there, despite our different views. And I think that's what, thank you.
Good.
And hi, Mom. I love you. And
hi, Mommy.
I think that's what's so frustrating about what happened with sort of, I call it.
Sorry, I'm not making fun of her, okay? I'm not. I'm making fun of what The View says. I gotta stop that.
You started doing some brand deals with different companies.
I did, honey.
Including, as you would call Beergate, Bud Light, and it became known as one of the biggest boycotts in American history.
I will start by saying I love beer, and I always have.
I was going to say, what were they thinking?
So, I mean, when I took that deal, I didn't think anything of it because I was like, oh, this is perfect. It felt like an organic thing to do, and because it was just another part of me. And I think what was so confusing about how it was going on was that it kept going, and I realized I had become the poster child for this thing. I didn't have all the resources that I needed to get through, and I'm the most privileged of transness, so I think that just goes to show how the rest of the community is hurting and the resources that we need. I think it was really the people around me and the trans women in my life that supported me during that time and took my hand and said, this is our reality, welcome. That's what got me through.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, because there's been all of this debate about whether transgender athletes should be able to compete. And last week, California governor Gavin Newsom said that he thinks that trans athletes competing in girls' and women's sports was deeply unfair. Now,
What?
I want to hear what you think.
Are you telling me that Gavin said if my daughter steps into a boxing ring with a girl that used to be a man, that's unfair? What's this world coming to? I love this reaction.
California Governor Gavin Newsom said that he thinks that trans athletes competing in girls' and women's sports was deeply unfair. Now,
Listen to the crowd.
I want to hear what you think.
Dear friend of mine, Skylar, he is a trans athlete. His handle's Pink Manta Ray. That's someone who I really look to for guidance. And I think that is what's tricky is like now stepping in this identity. I'm still like a baby trans. You know, I've
Tell me more
only
about
3 years
Skylar.
in. Tomorrow's my anniversary.
Your friend went Your friend went from female to male and is competing with other males.
Correct.
No.
Yes.
Her friend.
Yes. Her friend. It went from female to male and is competing with other
So
males.
Gavin doesn't have a problem with that.
Did you hear that, guys? By the way, the Skylar, they leave this out. You know, guess what sport it was? Swimming. Okay, it wasn't fencing. Skylar went to Harvard. Didn't win one match. Never even placed. This guy on YouTube, you know what he says about swimmers?
And when we look at other data points, it's a really compelling story. First of all, when you look at the last 30 years of this Manhattan Island swim, the fastest women were on average 12 to 14% faster than the men. So just because you have the outliers, the peak performance, on average, the fastest times in that specific discipline were actually women. And I just told you guys, the world record was held for 13 years by a woman, faster than any man has ever gone in that Manhattan Island swim.
What would you call that? Possible cheating, maybe.
I think part of the problem that the trans community is facing, and it's the same problem that women face, is if you don't know anything about our bodies, you don't know how it works. So when you come in and you say, oh, you know, these are men, you know,
competing
against women.
So Dylan doesn't have any clue because she was born a man. Do I got that right? Right here is the best part because it's the craziest part. But first, support me and watch this. This is where I get my news. My channel, it's all about honesty, and I found something awesome. Ground News. This place allows me to get it right every time. Check them out for yourself at ground.news/jaws. Recently, Donald Trump and a governor got into a spat over men competing in women's sports.
And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
I wanted to know, have the people of Maine had enough of her? Everywhere I looked, it was only the left side praising her. The truth was on Ground News. Finally, a place you can read between the lines of media bias. The great thing about Ground News, it tells you whether a media outlet leans left, right, or center. It gives you a biased distribution, making certain a story is being covered fairly. Ground News allowed me to compare 2 stories, one from the right, one from the left. And yeah, reading both sides helped me understand the bigger picture. And guess what? I found what I was looking for. Turns out the people of Maine, they signed a petition asking for her recall. This here is the best feature, Blind Spot Feed. It tells you what the media is covering or not covering, and shows you if only one side is covering it. That's weird. Only the left are covering it? Which was my initial issue. Stay informed. Subscribe to Ground News now and get 40% off the Vantage plan, which gives you access to every feature you see here and more. Scan the QR code that you see on the screen or use my link, ground.news/jaws. Support my channel. Do it today. It's the only thing I care about.
And these are men, you know,
competing
against women. You're assuming that the women are weak and just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen female athletes? They know what they're doing. So I'm not sure.
Do you believe what you're watching right now? They know what they're doing, guys.
And just can't do anything except be here. Have you seen?
Look at head down. Ooh. She doesn't have the guts to say it. Look how awkward that is.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
So I'm not sure what's going on or why this is an issue. The same for me as when people say, oh, you know, I don't know how I...
Because it's unfair, Whoopi? To break weightlifting records? What? You honestly don't... You're this dumb?
You do. God doesn't make mistakes.
No.
And the challenge is not to
Yeah,
the
he does.
trans
He makes a
people.
lot of mistakes.
It's to the people who are not trans. That's what God is looking to see, how you treat people.
Yeah.
That's what.
That's absolutely right.
Is happening. So I was
Absolutely
just
right.
curious as to what I liked your answer.
Thank you.
I liked your answer.
She didn't
So
answer.
yes has the question.
Yes. Well, as we've been discussing, the trans community is really under attack in this
Attack.
country, right? With gender affirming
Is anybody attacking them? We just want to leave them alone. And they want to be left alone. Nobody's attacking them. That's how they say it, though, right? We're under attack. It gets really dumb here, guys. Real dumb.
with gender affirming care for minors being banned, actually, in many states.
Yeah?
The anti-trans rhetoric coming from some conservative lawmakers caused the Human Rights Campaign to declare a state of emergency for the LGBTQ plus community. What is your message to people in the trans community during this time when the community really is under attack?
Absolutely.
Absolutely
I think what we're living through is something that in the history books will be written about, and
we want to protect
I want to
children.
make sure that my piece of it is advocacy. And it's interesting because people often put me as an activist when I'm really just a musical theater girl who now wrote a book.
You know there's a lot of crazy parents out there that would give these kids hormones. Should we not protect kids from crazy parents?
Beautifully said. Now, Dylan, who do you hope reads this book? And if there's one message they take from it, what would that be?
Oh, gosh.
Who do you hope who reads this book? People who drink Bud Light. If that happens, then I'll know for real that I made it. Right? I shouldn't laugh. I mean, this Dylan person is holding up. I mean, she did good.
I like to think of this as the kind of book that a mom could read with her, like, college-age daughter.
Why would any mom read to somebody in college? Hey, baby, I got a book. Are you home from college? Christmas break. I got a book I'm going to read to you. Like, what? No mom reads to a kid that's in college.
Our thanks to Dylan Mulvaney. Paper Doll is out now.
Doesn't look like that.
If you want to shop the book, you can click the QR code on your screen.
Go ahead and click it, guys.
And you know.
Don't do. Well,
Yes, okay, so you know already that everybody in the audience is going home with a copy of Dylan's book. We will be right back.
The show's going to be canceled. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be canceled. Nobody agrees with any of them. Nobody out there in the real world agreed what Whoopi had to say. Or any of them. You don't stay on the air. You just don't. Nobody watched it. Except for me. Guys, go to Ground News. Okay? That's where I get all my stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.